Hi, this is Ronnie and welcome to my channel. And today the spotlight is on the Secret Not Secret Kit Club and Khristina, who is the owner of the club. And this is also for a challenge that was in the party that they have every month. It's an online party on Facebook and there's loads of challenges and fun things to do. And you'll see over to the left my phone. That is because this is also a timed challenge. Yeah. And it's to do pictures in sequence. So I have 4 pictures here of my great nephews on a trampoline, and there's my sequence for the challenge. I am backing them all, 3 of them on 3x4 cards, but one I'm backing on some red, and I wanted it to show up just a little bit more because they have fallen down, 2 of them have, and they're giggling and they're tickled because they're having so much fun. But it being a 30-minute challenge, yeah, I had to think of my layout ahead of time on what I wanted to do with it because I have spent more than 30 minutes on titles before, especially if I use my die cuts and cut them out on my Big Shot, and then I have to glue them and everything. Yeah, I took a lot longer than 30 minutes on some of those titles. But today it's going to be 2 words. 2 words, yeah. And I am going to use thickers. But I'm cutting these strips, and I'm going to have 3 strips in bright colors and 2 strips in the darker. And then I'm going to back all of them on blue cardstock, and the blue cardstock is a real thin cardstock from Colorbach, and so it's not going to add much weight to the layout by adding them since everything's a little bit thinner. And that's when I decided I need to have one more darker color there and go ahead and cut one more out. And I'm going to have the lighter bright colors and then the darker, and I'm going to, stagger it and have 5 columns when I get done. And here I am starting to use the cardstock, and I think I cut off the top part of it, the perforated edge, because it does come in a pad, and I am going to add all these pieces on here. And the idea in my mind was to have a very loose, and I mean loose, grid layout, since I do have 4 pictures here. I'm going to put foam tape behind the picture since everything is so busy and colorful and fun. And look at that, see the plaid paper right there? Yeah, I love that side, but I did not use it for this layout. I wanted all the bright color and activity going on my page because there's a lot of activity going on in the pictures, and I wanted it to kind of go together the same way. And since I'm doing all these right in a row, and there I got off. Yeah, somehow or other I didn't cut something straight, and so I had to straighten everything up and get it correct. So that slowed me down a little bit, but I still make it in 30 minutes. This is going to be my thinnest piece of paper to go on there, and because I wanted to stay in my 12-inch square. Yeah, I had to cut a couple of them a lot thinner. The brighter ones are thicker and the darker ones are thinner. And I'm deciding there how I want to put them. But I did know I wanted to go bright and colorful, dark, bright and colorful, dark, like that. And I pulled the camera over so you could see it and see where I was at, because while I was cutting all these pieces of paper, yeah, it got kind of pushed over to the side. And I'm using my T-square ruler because since there's so many vertical lines in this layout, I wanted to make sure they were straight. If any of them were off, it'd make it look a little bit funny, so I tried to make everything straight. However, my mats might not be straight with my paper. Yeah, that could be. And my mats on my pictures too. But they're close, and I go for close on that. And I do have a set of those rulers from We Are Memory Keepers so that I could do the mats with. But I tried them the first day I got them, and I think it's something that takes practice like everything else in scrapbooking seems to do. And I just haven't taken the time to learn how to use them correctly. And so they're sitting there in hand's reach of me. I can just reach over and get them right now. But yeah, I haven't quite learned how to master them. I laid the pictures down and decided which way to put them. And normally, since he's facing the left, I would have put that over on the right. But I thought it looked, more helter-skelter if I had him looking like he was going off the page. It's a pretty good size trampoline, and I think at one time there was 5 on there. Yeah, and it was supervised. Yeah, there was a lot of adults out there that day watching them and making sure they didn't get too close to the edge and didn't get too rowdy, and just had a lot of fun. And I'm putting foam tape on the last of my pictures. All 4 pictures have foam tape, so they'll come up off the page. And I think the next thing I do is pull out the stars. I'm going to put red stars on this layout, and I'm just going to kind of put them here and there on the layout. And I'm going to use the lighter red because it goes more with the red in the pictures. I do have some darker red that's textured that's in the container. And no, I'm not doing that next. I was wrong. I am doing my title. I'm going to decide really quickly that this one's just a little bit too big. I'm not going to be able to fit the whole word in there. So I'm going to pull them off, and I'm going to go for the Happy Life dark blue ones. And my intention was to do catching in one font and then use air for that larger font. But since I use blue for the catching, I am not going to use the black for air. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Happy Life for the word air also. And later, right, the very last thing that I do on the layout, I am going to put an exclamation point on it. I'll look at my phone and still have like a minute something left, and I'm going to think, I think there was exclamation point on that sticker sheet still. I hadn't used them all. And I will go ahead and put it on there and add it to it. And so I will have less than a minute left when I get done. And here I'm pulling out that piece right there. It says, life is short, so live it well. And it was a 3x4 card at one time. And it was on the, I did cut it out, and I did fussy cut around it. And I was going to use it on another layout, and I laid it to the side and just forgot about it. It never made it on that layout. So I put it in the container there to save for later, and I've done several layouts since then. I just hadn't thought of using it. And here I'm gluing down the stars that I had scattered on the page, and I'm going to add adhesive to the back of this Life is Short, so live it well. But I thought it needed back too, since everything else in this layout is backed. I thought I'd back it in some blue. However, I didn't have a big enough piece to just go behind it, so I'm going to go around part of it and then move the blue down and go around the other part. And looking at the layout now, I cannot tell where the one part ended and the other part began. The layout's so busy that nobody's ever going to notice it. And yeah, it went around it really well. I'm going to add foam tape to it so it'll be up as high as the picture, and then I'm going to kind of have it overlapping the picture, kind of snuggling in next to one of the boys. And now I pulled out the enamel shapes. I had them in my kit last month, did not use any, and had, of course, put them right back in my kit this month. And I am going to use a bunch. I think it's like confetti or something. And it has a few lightning bolts in there also. But I am going to scatter them around the page. Everything is kind of helter-skelter on here already anyway. And so I'm just going to add to it. And I'm showing the layout, and I did not do a very good job of showing it. I went up really quick and came right back down because I looked at the clock. and I saw that I still had over a minute left, and I had time to put the exclamation point on there. So I had 7 seconds left when I got done. And so here's my layout. I will leave a link below for Redefined Creative Secret Not Secret Kit Club, so you can check that out on Facebook. And I will also, if you leave a comment, I'll respond to your comment. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. If you like the video, if you hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so very much for stopping in and watching. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.